Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Classic Quest Podcast. This, the show where we break down the classic hip-hop albums, track by track, give our thoughts and opinions on every single song and skit. My name is Holden Stefan Roy.
I am your lady friend, Bonnie.
And I want to start this off by asking why your dingling is in the milk. Because today, we are talking about Heltah Skeltah's album, Nocturnal. I mean, they got some vampire-looking stuff going on. It feels like it's more nocturnal than it is, nocturnal.
It feels like this should have been like around Halloween, or like as we're like getting into autumn, because I feel like autumn is like a good time to have creepy situations.
We can consider this Patreon request from Mr. Coney Sparks, the same guy who got the Bodied review. So you should check out the Bodied review that we did. He asked us to do this album, so we are doing this album, and I think it kicks off Halloween season. Who cares? Who cares if it's more than a month away? That's what's up now. It's Halloween season. Thank you, Heltah Skeltah and Coney Sparks. Anyway, we care a lot about y'all. We understand who we are. We look around the room. We see what it is. We just people who started reviewing albums one day, and we just keep doing it. And we're like, we're not going to stop, because if Anthony Fantano can be the world's biggest music nerd as an individual, we can be the collective version of Fantano. Yeah.
Nerd.
Anyway. So on that note, though, we recognize that there's a huge chance that y'all know way more about Heltah Skeltah than we do. Y'all know more about Sean Price than we do. So rest in peace, by the way. I feel like it's appropriate.
Yep.
And then on that note, we care a lot about your comments and what you have to say, and we encourage you to leave those comments for the betterment of us and the review in general. And on that note, sometimes we like to read our favorite comments of last week's video. And of last week's video on the Roots Organics, Wondah left a wonderful comment about the freestyle nature of everything. It was very, very cool. But now we're going to read one of my, I don't want to say least favorite comments, but a different comment type. Pop Fan for Life and like 8 other accounts have been kind of spam posting. Comment so-and-so by Nick Natelli. Now, I listened to Mr. Nick Natelli for a quick minute. I got curious. It's alright. But yeah. So we got all these little spam review requests sometimes that come through, and I don't know, maybe you'll like Nick Natelli. I don't have a lot to say about it, really. It's just, I bet on this very review, because it's been like a recent thing, and I don't know, it's probably a bot or it's a person with like 9 accounts who's pretending like it's a whole bunch. Here's a quick lesson on fake commenting 101. Every account needs a personality, right? Like, this guy typos, this guy only uses yous. Like, make it up, man. Like, you know what my problem is it's so lazy.
You're not creative enough.
Like, it's just so lazy. Like, you're talking to a guy who part of my day job understands the nuances of how to fake review things. Like, it's something that's a real thing that's out there. And you're just doing it bad. And I guess that's my problem with it. If you have a different picture and a different name on it, and you type in exactly the same formatting and style, well, it's you. Like, I mean, I can tell when it's you because you're clearly not trying, or you're a bot, not effective. But create personas for each of these people you have. Gosh, you'll actually maybe make it look like some people's checking it out. And layer that, man. Like, it doesn't make sense that the same request comes in the course of an hour from 8 accounts. Like, come on. That doesn't even happen with famous people on this channel. So how is it this random ass person, like, I'm just saying, grievance done. That's the kind of show this is. I mean, I'm not gonna grievance away at Heltah Skeltah, but I just sometimes want to respond to the comments, and it's fun to do it at the beginning.
Yeah. They are pretty annoying because it's pretty obvious, like, what's going on.
Like, in theory, and we can just segue here, it's part of the Patreon if you really want a freaking album reviewed, throwing it out there like Coney Sparks did on this very review. Just throwing it out there. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. Some, like Dusty Clips can contest to the fact that we reviewed his album. He didn't have to do a damn thing.
Consistency pays off.
And there have been many people on this channel that know that straight up over the course of the comments can say that we've just done it because it's cool, and we respect that. But if you're gonna come at me with the damn review thing, just freaking pay me and I'll do it. It's that simple. Like, I mean, what am I supposed to say? If you go through Patreon, I don't have a choice. On that note, they're all awesome. So special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barks, DJ Black, Hurricane Linda Williams, and Coney Sparks. To be fair, I don't really expect anybody to sign up for that. It's just not even like the genuine request. It's cool. It's the obvious you're a marketer trying to get me to cover your stuff in a fake you're getting out of it kind of way. Like, come on, dude.
Yep.
I hope
we
y'all
know what's up.
I really hope y'all just understood that this wasn't at fans. That guy's not a fan. That guy didn't watch my video. That guy just commented on the last 6 of them with like fake accounts. So that's the difference. Anyway, even if you're not a fan, you can hate. You can be a hater. You can be anything. It's just those guys are the worst. I digress. What album are we talking about today?
Well, again, we are doing Heltah Skeltah's Nocturnal album, which came out...
You didn't say it correctly.
What?
Nocturnal. Thank you.
I feel like House Bunny, if anybody knows that movie.
I bet Lindell Williams knows exactly what you're talking about.
It's a good movie. This came out June 18th, 1996. So it's a nice old school kind of a vibe.
I know that Heltah Skeltah is on a list of people I feel like we should have covered by now. I feel like also this is just to let you know, the part of the show where we like to contextualize our familiarity with the artist, and the reason for that is specifically we came to realize that the longer you've listened to an artist and the more you've heard an album, the more connected you become to it, meaning that y'all who have been bumping this from the mid-90s is going to feel a very powerful and deep connection to the album in a way that myself, who has listened to it for about a week, not even a week, maybe a tops, like I could not really possibly have caught all the nuances and the things that go into it. And I just think it's fair for y'all to be aware of that going into this, because I understand, especially when we're talking about guys with this level of magnitude in their like stature and skill and whatnot, that might sometimes come off like we're being a little disrespectful or whatever. We just open about the ignorance. For me, this is new.
Yep.
I'm looking at this from a 2019 lens with my limited understanding of it all. However, I do know who Sean Price is because I reviewed the album he did with Small Professor, and I can't remember the name of it. I feel like there was an 88 in it or something. Either way, Small Professor like retweeted that and whatnot, and he like hearted it and he like shouted it out for a quick man. I thought that was super cool. Either way, that was a posthumous release from Sean Price that came out early this year, I think. And I discovered in that moment that dude is a lyricist, like in a way that like I felt stupid for not having got to him, and then a whole bunch of time went by, so I feel doubly stupid for not having got to him sooner. Still, I had, I guess, some real like curiosity, right? Because I got to hear like, let's say, the end results of his career on like just kind of the more finessed, grown-up version of who he is.
Yep.
And then this is like the beginning parts of it all. Like I know that he was in the boot camp Clik something. Oh,
yeah.
BCC. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Beforehand, and this was like they were apparently like the standouts, if I'm not mistaken. Like they had some distinction going on with the voices, and then this album came. This was their big debut, and I don't know. That's about all I got up to this point. What about you? How do you know them before this point?
I did a lyrical breakdown on Sean Price's Mess You Made. So I did that, and like in doing like research for lyrical breakdowns, I have come across this album before, particularly one song which I'll mention later on. And I recognized it right away just because like the cover is so unique, and so as soon as I like looked it up to like check out what the album that was requested, I was like, oh, I know this one, like I've seen this cover before. I'm like, this is something that like I'm familiar with. Do you want to talk about the cover?
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's like this.
It's really cool.
So they're like vampire dudes with green eyes. Loving it. I mean, I don't know what else there is things to be saying. Yeah,
because they're like hanging upside down like bats, which are nocturnal animals.
One of them's got green eyes, green shirt. One of them's got red eyes, red shirt. They look like vampire dudes.
But it's like fun and kind of like stylish or whatever. It's a very unique cover.
But on the other hand, they're totally just upside down corny vampires. And I say corny because a lot of this stuff comes off awesomely corny in the 90s. But on the other hand,
cool.
It really appeals to the geek in me. Like, I love this cover. This might be one of the best album covers I've come across on the channel. All genres of music we talked about. This is awesome. This is the type of, like, I want to produce something that looks that awesome. I don't think I could.
And it sets the tone, like, when the mood, like, right away, just looking at it, like, you kind of know
it's got
you're
this
going to get, like, a kind of a creepy feeling.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That I don't think I can achieve in life. And I really like it. And then there's the trees and shit in the background, all dark and snowy, and, like, looks like Montreal in the middle of the night. It does. That looks like some Montreal-ass trees.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the snowiness, the barrenness, the cold that's coming. 6 months of awful. Either way, I like it. And then the album's called Nocturnal. Anyway, which has, like, a clear horror, dark theme going on to it. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure if the cover made me believe that they're going to be, like, hardcore or horrorcore or just something different. My brain had me at something different. Like, I don't know what I was really...
Like, I knew it was going to be creepy, because looking at it, you kind of get, like, that kind of, like, feeling.
But at the same time, I didn't think it was going to be creepy.
But, like, I mean, often people are, like, you know, if they're doing, like, Halloween kind of... Well, not Halloween kind of stuff, but, like, creepy kind of stuff. Like, there'll be, like, bats and this kind of, like, type of an animal. And it fits with the theme
it fits
of,
with
like...
the nighttime.
The nocturnal thing. And so, like, you know, like, the, you know, creepy things come out at night. And, you know, so it's, like, nocturnal. It's like all, like, the creepy things that are going to be, you know...
I totally get all that. I still just... It's just the Christmas colors.
Yeah.
It kind of takes away from...
Because they're cool. You can tell that they're just like,
the creepiness,
whatever.
Right? So I feel like...
The glowing eyes is a bit much.
It's awesome. That's my favorite part.
I like the outfits.
I might one day steal the glowing eyes, and then I'm gonna credit that I took the idea from here. But damn, it's such a great idea, and it's like
we'll dress up as them for Halloween.
Love it.
And see if anybody knows who they are.
Let's move on from that.
Yep.
The first song is called Intro. Here We Come. I suppose when you hear Rock's voice on this track, you're like, that's
no. First of all,
it's kind of horror-y.
The song starts off with, "What the hell was your dick doing in the milk, man?"
I thought we already covered that.
You mentioned it at the beginning, but this is literally how the whole album starts.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? and it's clearly like, you know, it's kind of going to be fun.
So my
like,
favorite
right
part of that is the Genius annotation from a name I can't really say because it's got a certain phrase in it. It's basically, anyway, it says don't knock it till you try it, or like a picture of a milk gallon, and then you just have that visual there. So if you do happen to go to the Genius lyrics page, I recommend clicking on that annotation, and you're like, that's some wonky stuff, man.
Don't do it. Don't do
and
it,
then,
guys.
Is
it really worth it?
Here we come. And then you're just thinking about the milk and the dick, and you're like, here we come. And you're like, no, this is not the direction I think anyone was trying to go with it. Or maybe it was, because that's a weird start, but I loved it.
Yep.
It was one of those ones where I was like, I don't get it, but it totally works. I don't think this album should start any other way than that sentence. It's just perfect, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's a great conversation starter.
And I like it because it's fun, and, like, you can, like, right away tell that they're, like, friends, and, like, that they're telling each other, like, these stupid, embarrassing stories, you know, like, to each other, and they're open enough to be able to do that. So, and, like, they're boys because they're doing shit like this.
So this is the part where, like, I just wanted to ask the audience right quick, because y'all are usually cool about answering these questions, usually on track one when you're still watching. Yeah. Is that, like, a reference to something? Like, is that a thing? Like, American Pie was a thing where you fucked a pie and we all knew what that meant?
Yeah.
Is this like an early 90s thing that I was like a single digits aged person, and so trust me, nothing with that language was being played in my life?
Right.
Anyway, then there's a hook. Here we come. Here we come. And the beat's like kicked in proper. I don't know how to describe it. It's got a good sound to it. But it is produced by Lord Jamar and Buckshot, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yep.
You know, I think it's cool that, like, as I'm looking at production credits now, a lot of these names are starting to, like, register, and I can almost recognize the style of the production. Anyway, not there yet, but for all y'all that are waiting for me to get there, it'll come. Anyway, hook's alright. Little interlude from Starang Wondah, who I believe is in the boot camp Clik. And that whatever, and he's like, yours truly, far from booty, Starang Wondah, and basically does a little hyped up introduction, bringing you this thing, and it's like, it's just, fitting that we are here to hype it up. And it was a thing that, remember, we had commented on previous reviews where it almost seems like at a certain point, every album starts with somebody, like, bringing you in and saying,
introducing them, yeah.
You count. And then rock rhymes. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
Like what? Everything or just that?
All of it, whatever you want to say.
All of it. I mean, I think it sounds really, really cool. I like, we already talked about the intro.
Very good.
I really like the here we come. I like that, and it sounds cool, and it's clearly, them kind of like marking their way, and like, we're here we come, like, get ready for us, because it's gonna be like crazy, like once we like get in the game, because this is their debut album, so this is them like really like making their announcement, and they're being introduced, like you said, by Starang, and I like his sound. Rock comes in, and he's kind of got this like dark, grimy sound, and I am here for it. It's so good.
Do you know what I just realized?
What?
And honestly, I had no idea.
What?
He lists all the song names of the album in this verse. I didn't even catch that till right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I was just looking at it now, because when I got to the song, right, just so y'all know, I listened to it like 3 times and I'll move on. So I was just listening right now. You asked for Who Want People, Here's War, that's fine. For this, I'll pack automatic, full for, and like you were saying, can you just go on about his voice, what you were going to say, because it was fucking...
Oh, it's just like dark and grimy, and like, I like it.
I don't want to cut you off there, but I did. Anyway, so fuck what you heard, don't even speak about my fleet. And I'm like, alright. And Rock, we don't give a wiggy, what now? And I'm like, oh yeah, that is a thing, the wiggy. That's a song on this album. Ain't none of y'all the tough, you could get your clans, posses, Clik. I'm like, oh, that's another one. Oh, snap, eh? We start Smack Ruckus and Rock Domes while we at it, G. My soldiers gone psycho at the madness beginning. Enter the square. I don't know if that's... Oh, yeah, it is. Track 10 is a square. We prowl, understand the plan is Operation Lockdown.
That's pretty cool. I don't...
Sean Price, another track. Yeah. Let's slice that punk shit you reppin', G. Jugs, Jules, and Versace need therapy. So, what's actually really amazing about this verse as an intro is that it kind of does what that Leon album did in the intro, where it like lyrically sets you up in a way to like hear all of the tracks and what they're coming through, but simultaneously it's kind of actually like you had a point before we realized that it was all the song titles, right? Like before that you were like ready to go, yeah, don't fuck with us, we coming in, we laying it down, and it all made sense,
right,
without knowing it was the song titles, making this entire thing like a double entendre in a sense, that this album represents the concepts we're spitting using these song titles, almost setting you up to give you a little something about what it's supposed to be. Yeah. And so Coney Sparks, I feel you. That's one freaking hell of an intro. Like, keep in mind, I didn't have any of what I just said ready to go. I literally just realized that as I was looking at it.
Pretty cool.
So happy we noticed that. Yeah, not being lazy and stuff. Anyway, then there's like a little more introduction-y stuff, and the chorus comes in, and it's like a dedicated soldier say, here we come, and then here we come as our chant. So you're left with the impression that Rock and his flow is ridiculous. It's well written, as we just pointed out. It's tough and it's grimy. It's intelligent.
The beat has me like nodding, and like it's like so cool, and like the ad-libs are really fun in there too.
I don't know what grade I gave it, but I was wrong. I gave it a very wrong grade, and now I'm honestly gonna have to give this a 4.75 because it's just maybe not my favorite enough to be a 5, but it's fucking brilliant. I just upgraded my grade. I don't even do that a lot, but it's actually brilliant.
Yeah, I also gave it a 4.75.
If honestly Starang Wondah wasn't there, I know you guys might like that stuff, but sometimes I find these talky intros a little bit much.
I liked his sound. I thought it was
a cool sound, but I feel like It's not my favorite. I'm allowed to be like, that's not my favorite.
Yep.
I'm giving it a damn near perfect, okay? It is one of those intros that I don't think I'm going to forget in the same way that a silly own little intro bit hit me like that. Like, it's really well done. I'm blown away. I'm actually even more blown away than I was before.
Yeah, it's a really, like, solid intro. I really dig their sound. And, like, I think Ludacris...
Ludicrous.
I think Rock sometimes sounded like Ludacris. Sorry,
I think we should say Ludacris sometimes sounds like Rock. That's only fair.
That's true. Because, like, sometimes I was like, oh, it almost sounds like the similar sort of voice. So I just noticed that as well. So, yeah, 4.75 for me.
So, yeah, that's really cool. I have to tell you one more thing about Rock's voice before I move on. It's in that vein of voices you never forget that, honestly, I don't know that anybody else quite sounds like him from a tonal perspective in what I've heard. Like, he's got this very distinct voice.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough about this track. You gave a grade? I think you did.
Yep.
Well, the Letha Brainz Bio. Allow me to be clear here. Sean Price, I don't think I can remember to say Rock. So Sean Price sounds absolutely freaking ridiculously talented. His flow's impeccable and everything. But from a pure voice perspective, does Rock not have like a voice that really kind of stands the fuck out?
Absolutely.
I don't know if it stays like that forever. This is my only Heltah Skeltah experience thus far. But holy crap, like, this album had a sound that almost instantly, like, snagged me in a way where I'm like, oh, like, really, like, oh, this is very mighty. But how do you feel about this one? Because we both know I can talk for a million years.
Like, this is all just about, like, letting your brain go crazy, and just kind of, like, be free and think whatever. Kind of like Rock mentions that he is not a fan of the police. Rock has, like, or Sean Price has, like, his chance to kind of, like, shine on this one, and I definitely agree with you, because I found, he's good, but Rock definitely stands out as at least the better, more kind of like...
I did not say better. I said his voice is more distinct.
Okay.
Don't put words in my mouth, yo.
No, okay. So yeah, anyways, their rhymes are both really amazing, honestly. And they're both, like, kind of mentioning that they're going to destroy you, and, that kind of amped up kind of stuff. And, yeah, I don't know. I like the beat on this one. It was kind of, like, underground sounding and grimy, like, that kind of feeling. So it's kind of like what you perceive from, like, the cover. At least that's how I did. So I give this a 4.35. I thought it was cool, but I'm waiting for the good stuff.
All right. So instantly I'm enamored with this. So I like both their flows, but more importantly, I like how their flows are different enough to really kind of create some versatility with it. So I don't really need
they each have, like,
Sean Price's voice to kind of sound as distinct, because what Sean Price did with flow fucked me up. I don't really know how to describe the nuances of it, but he had this quick, fun rhythm to it. Whereas, you feel with Rock, it's more of a slow, hard, heavier hitting rhythm to it, And I'm not saying that he doesn't flip it up toward the album or anything. They're just saying on this particular track. So the way they complement it, and I believe that the way they ad-lib each other too is really fun, really complements it, Like, in the middle of the first verse, it's like, the way he goes, blowing up by the frame Rock, Mr. Flips, this shit's Heltah Skeltah, where's the inflicta? What? That's dope. Yeah. I don't know what inflicta even means. I'm hoping this genius annotation helps.
Well, it's probably like
it's just like inflicting pain. So he's making up fucking words in a cool way that is coherent. That's called slang dropping. I'm assuming. Don't judge me if I sound too white and corny. Then the next one's up, right by her side. And that's by the next one, I mean Sean Price or Rock comes in right by her side with my eyes on the Posse. I see Duke and Ray say you want to drop me. Plus he claims he can burn me up in raps. Skits, and then Rock comes back and shit, take it to his grill. That's the punk way feel. And it's just like, oh, I'm a sucker for some back and forth, yo. And that's what this first verse brings us. I'm really into it, man. I just feel like you can just picture them bouncing off of each other with this energy, and they're just like, yo, this dude's talking shit. More out here, pussy type, more on my flip, see, cause I got enough slugs for your mom in my clip. Strip to your drawers, run your dough and your jewels, tools, cocked it, and ain't but first, but I'm breaking full. I was like, oh, that's some good wordplay right there. I don't know why. It just sounded aggressive. The level of not give a fuck is proper. And then to drop an April 1st things, I don't know. It's April Fool's Day. It's an obvious line, but it's clever enough that it's just unexpected dope. Almost adds a comedic value to this otherwise slap you in the face rhymes. Kind of like the glowing eyes on the album cover. That's what that line feels like to me. And anyway, Rock, comes back in, don't know Jack, my flow's fat, so fat, my gat splat at who claimed that my shit's whack. You don't know, I thought you knew, too late, bitch, you blew it. Now I'ma bang your shit up like I was Lennox Lewis. I'm like, oh, damn it, references. I hate references because I don't really know half of that shit. So I'm assuming that Lennox Lewis is a person that bangs shit up. And it's clever, and it's fine. I can Google it after. But then 6, 7, 8. So shit, where's my 9? So he's facing the opposition. His responsive counting up. Pull out the gun. I'm like, that's clever. Damn, it's really fun. I don't know. I mean, I just think the way that they rhyme over this beat, and the beat's grimy. The beat's got this, again, headbanging, kind of darker theme to it. I don't know, the hooks, let that madness begin and let it begin. Let that madness begin and let the brains blow if you're grinning. Which reminded me, that hook made me think of how I Could Kill a Man or something like that. Like kind of had that kind of energy going on to it. I freaking loved it a bunch. I don't know, Cypress Hill popped off of me a little bit. And then one of my favorite lines is, keep it real, my click roll thick like Hasidics. And I'm just like, it's true. Hasidics really do roll in thick clicks, man. And they got the back tight, locked up, money in the community type stuff, don't even share. Like, there's a store downtown Montreal called, I won't say the name just in case, but it's a jeans store. And they have like the illest jeans. And if they know you're Jewish, it's a different experience than if they know you're not Jewish, is all I'm trying to say.
I guess.
I'm just saying, this is the experience of that place. You've never heard a non-Jew talk about this place with a positive experience in my anecdotal Montreal. And as a Jew, I look forward to hitting it up at some point. Anyway, I liked it a lot. I like this, just, I don't know, the whole flow of this, the way they come in lyrically. I mean, we could, in theory, go through every bar. If you really want Bonnie to do lyrical breakdowns, let us know if you guys will actually click on that and watch it. But on the real, I'm impressed by the wordplay. And just, I like hearing stuff like, that Mom Duke's baked. I don't know why. It's just like, it feels like it's so not my language. Like, I would never say that sentence. And it's kind of fun, because it just rhymes real well. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really have stuff to say about this track. I think it's really just like, you just feel them smashing you in the face with lines and like proving through like a tenacity where like you don't necessarily feel like it's real, like they're out there actually doing this stuff. You feel like the lyrical power they bring is the equivalent of destroying you, like, toe to toe or blow to blow, we could square you. My brass knuckles make your knees buckle. What? I'm not trying to say they weren't toughening up fire shit. I don't know. Maybe they're just literally being literal. But I feel like lyrically it feels more like what they're rapping about is what the lyrics feel like as you hear them a little bit more than, say, other people. Anyway, I like the line, I lay more flat out on the back than a slut do. Like, he's so violent. He knocks people out so frequently, more than a girl who was promiscuous. And as I understand it, there are quite a few times in people's lives where ladies have had trains ran where many folk have been involved. So that's a powerful line, saying how tough he is, especially because certain types of ladies may enjoy trains being ran. No judgment. It's you do you people out there.
Okay.
Anyway, I really like this track. I was very, very happy to hear it. It got me off guard. It's the kind of stuff where, like, when you listen to it over and over again, I feel like there's Easter eggs every time. Like, you just catch a little something new. Like, you're not left for one. Every lyric is just kind of dope in its own way.
Yep.
And maybe it doesn't have to be, like, the most intellectually blah, blah, blah type stuff. But the way that they're spitting it shows how smart they are. But also, like, man, I could just feel like you're drunk in the middle of the night screaming Sean Price lyrics at the window because you fucking feel in a certain way. Like, this is just dope, man. I don't know. 4.5 on 5.
Well,
Undastand.
Yep.
I recognize who he is. I don't know why my grammar is so like that. I get made fun of when I do that at work. All right, Bonnie, tell us what you understand from this song.
Well, war is everything outside of your door. And they were from, or are from, were from, I guess, Brooklyn in like the early 1990s. So I can imagine that it was kind of like a war zone. And so like he kind of talk, or they talk about like, that they're going to be killing you with lyrics, but mentions that, they also have a gun. So if necessary, they have the protection. I found that Rock really stood out on this one. Again, like, I really like his style and his sound. Like, it's just, like, really, like, distinct, as you mentioned. The beat is super smooth on this song. I really like that. And just kind of, like, talking about, like, how, like, crazy shit can happen to anybody in the hood because crazy shit is happening all around you. And somehow or another, you could just, walk by and then end up, a witness or killed or shot or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, like all these things that are happening or arrested or whatever else you end up happening, whatever's going on around you, I guess. And I like that they mentioned Timberland boots because I'm pretty sure, like, in, like, my, like, hip-hop history knowledge, somewhere in my brain, that Timberlands were, like originally worn in Brooklyn, because of, like, hip-hop, and, like, has now spread to a multitude of places, including here in Montreal.
In that book, the Wu-Tang Manual, Riz is like, you basically have to wear Tim's as one of, like, the two accepted, or Walla something shoes. Those are the two accepted shoes you can wear in the Wu Army.
Oh, well, there we go.
Also, I realized that an off-white black Timberland edition velvet boot would be $1,365. I didn't even realize Tim's could be that expensive. Anyway, go on.
I mean, yes. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. They're representing Brooklyn. They're kind of saying, like, where they're from, where they're at. And I really liked it. I thought it was nice. It was really easy to listen to. Like I said before, like, the beat was just, like, smooth, and it was fun. I liked it, and I give it a 4.5 on 5.
I feel like as much as they wanted you to understand their environment is tough, there was one more thing to understand.
Oh?
When Heltah Skeltah only mean war, it also means don't mess with them.
Yeah.
Because literally, like, the whole track is kind of like, this is your warning. You better understand that the due respect is due. Guy, just don't come at me, please, Mr. Rock, whatever. Ruck. It's confusing because there's literally a one difference. Rock. It's a little hard to keep track a little bit.
I managed.
You're better than me, okay? No, but for real. Heltah, I really like how Mr. Price starts as just Heltah Skeltah starts storming your life a dreaming this morning. I'm warning people who jail. My name rings bells like a doorman, a warrant for the arrest of a militant menace who serves head like tennis with words that diminish. But just the way he flows the warning thing and then adds like the other rhyme scheme in, so like, storming your life a dreaming this morning, I'm warning, and then holds it for a little bit. People who jail. My name rings bells like a doorman, bringing it back in and like close it in. I think that's really fun, really good to listen to. And then jail bells, kind of, I don't even know what gel is. I don't even know what that freaking word is. I'm reading it off of Genius. Anyway, I just love the way it flows. And then who is this for getting swift with this pugilist? I'm like, what's a pugilist? In fact, I don't even remember what it meant. I'm pretty sure I looked it up. So let's learn together.
Yeah.
It's a boxer, especially a professional one. I'm learning language off the guy.
Pretty cool.
That is literally... Okay, so one of the ways I measure a good book is if it taught me like 5 or 6 new words. Already, we learned a fake jargon word and a real word. That's 2. And it's an album. That's really cool. I really enjoy hearing new language like that. I just the way he like flows it in. He's a pugilist equipped with the lyrical gift to flip scripts. People duck sick, don't want to touch with the rough. This ruck kicked, break bones boys like Roy Jones. I don't know who that is. Decoys roam, but they can't mess with my people. I'm just like, damn, bam, and he's fast-paced with it. I feel like he's just jabbing me a little bit with his little lyrics there. He's pugilisting me, and I like it. It's really got a cool thing. And that hook, man, when you get the I be the R-O, he be the R-U, and then they flip it, and you're like, oh, that camaraderie, it's freaking proper. I don't know what happened, and I believe they split up a little bit later on, but still, love it. And then Rock comes in with his verse, and it's the same kind of thing, you know. I tell ya before I have to belt ya, so hot the heat might even swelter or melter. I nailed ya, tried to yell, but who he felt the shell. Now I hell wondering who's Heltah Skeltah. Oof! Again, man, the rhyming that they're doing here, I really like it. Like at a technical level, this is fun. This is like syllable compounding in a way that is geeking me out, and it's really cool. And it's to the point where I care a little bit less about what they're saying, just because I'm just feeling that flow and I'm riding it like that. So, on top of that, it's also really clear what they're saying. Don't fuck with us.
Yep.
And I can break it down into a sentence, but the way they're saying it is just ridiculous, right? But it's the kind of ridiculous where, look, we've covered hundreds, probably over 1,000 songs where the core essence is don't fuck with us.
Yeah.
And this style of doing it really stands out to me. Like, it's a quality level of lyrical tightness flowing, but also like creative and interesting to listen to, you know? I really respect that. And then stuff like Glass, and then you hear Shattering. You know, like, that's cool use of, like, productive effects and whatnot. And then we get some back and forth on the next verse. I was looking to see if there's anything, like, super dope that caught my eye. It does totally get dated with lines like, The Rock, now you gotta get away like Bobby Brown. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Bobby Brown was a guy. I know that to some of y'all that might be weird, but, like, has Bobby Brown had any sort of relevancy in our adult life?
I don't think so.
Me neither. Then it just flows out, and then understand that if I'm disrespectful, I suppose, that I'll catch the backhand or the Timberland. I don't really want that, so kudos. Y'all wrote another great freaking track, in my opinion. Super awesome. Another 4.5. I feel like already I'm riding this album out like this. Okay. I really respect this shit. Like, I really respect why Coney Sparks was so adamant that we should talk about this album.
Because it's good.
But it's, like, really good. Not to say other albums aren't really good, but, like, this one is, like, really good in a way that I happen to really like. Usually I respect it over here, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna put that on again. That happens a lot. Doesn't matter which ones. This one is, hold on, I'm gonna be putting this one on for sure, because, like, yo, pugilist, that's a sick word. Anyway.
Well, who dat?
It's Bonnie. That's the answer. So this one brought me back in time a little bit, meaning I remember days where you would walk into a room and hear, yo, put the freaking towel back by the door, son. It's actual things that have been said to me in my life, being the last person to enter the room, not being aware of the towel. The purpose of this towel is marijuana is being consumed in the room, and there's a certain odor. Now, you may notice that at the bottom of doors, often, there's a little gap. You put the towel, it blocks it from leaving a little bit. How effective is it? More effective than you think. Put the damn towel on the door, folks. I mean, on the floor. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Then they come in, and then the beat starts playing, and then it just sounds like both of them kick a little freestyle, you know? You know, yo, let's kick some TAWL to the Sean, drop bombs, make me holier than Quran's a Bible. Sean's the idol upon my arrival. On earth I was blessed, I brought with these fucking recitals. I'm like, oh, he's doing it again. He's dropping religion bars in the middle of that. And the fact that not only can he, like, flip it all, but he can make something super intelligent, like, you know, dropping these cohesive, you know, really just the Bible flowing into the Quran, you know, bringing he's your idol, which is also tying into the religious stuff. And I thought it was super cool. And then Rock comes in, does his little verse. It's totally fine. And he does have a good one, too. Rappers be acting like they're queer. They need to stop this. Man, based on their definitions, holy crap, they did not go in that direction. Or I attack from the rear and make your lock twist. Like titties, when broads take off their brassiere, you'll drop quick. Let's stop for a moment. brassiere is a pretty high, like, level word to be throwing into the middle of something where he's attacking you from the rear. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Let's be real. That's awesome. So he's teaching dudes better language, right? Because that word, when other dudes could drop it around a lady, would make you seem a little more cultured and smart. So you're listening to it like, yeah, I'm attacking you from the rear, make you a lock twist, like titties when bras take out the bra. You're like, brassiere, that's a new word.
I just think it's funny because he's attacking them from the rear, but then he's like accusing them of being queer. I'm like, that seems like a queer move. You would, come from behind, if you know what I mean.
However, you do twist titties after you take off the brassiere, and a lot of ladies happen to like a nice little titty twist, a little chokey choke, a little fun action going on, and it makes them wet down there so they drop quick. Oh, swimming up in your subconscious. Oh. Okay, anyway, I just liked it a lot. It was really fun. And he says punani puke. I never heard that before. That was an alliteration move I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
It all flows real well. I really like that. Anyway, I don't know. This one wasn't 100% like a full song to me, but as far as like skit, interlude, fun little thingies go, because keep in mind, the setting is they're freestyling while smoking a blunt. This is pretty
basically
cool. I'll give it a 4.25.
Yeah, I mean, because it's only like a minute and 44 seconds. So, I mean, it is what it is. They're smoking weed. They're trying to hide it. The towel under the door. They're taking the batteries out of the fire smoke alarm. And they're just freestyling. They mention that it's New Year's Eve. And then somebody shows up, but they don't let him in. And it sounds like somebody that you don't want there or they don't want there.
The knock at
sounds
the
like
end.
like a whiny bitch at the door or something.
Well, it's just the person didn't, because you got to have a code so you can get in. Like, you maybe.
He's like, you're not cool enough to get in. You're not.
You don't have
don't-
the code.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's well done. I agree with you. I also gave it a 4.25.
All right. The next one is simply named after a legend, a true legend. I want to say that now, having only heard 2 projects. True legend, Sean Price. I would just like to say, I don't see a huge difference between the weird pitch shifty effect that he puts on his voice when he's saying stuff like "ought to meet my peeps," deep like that whole part there, like that effect, and
Okay.
auto-tune. Y'all can act like there's a whole bunch of differences between the two, but like from a technical level, there's not. Like sound effects is part of hip hop from way back, from what I can tell. And so maybe if the dude is enunciating, we shouldn't call everything auto-tune mumble rappers. I'm not saying y'all do that. I'm just thinking out loud for everybody that does do that, because I think a lot of y'all don't do that. But if you do, it's just something to consider, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because that was what popped into my mind, as does every time I hear a rapper from the legend era being totally okay with sound effects when it's appropriate. Oh, you could argue, but he does the whole. Who cares? That it's not the point. It's a device that some artists can do and use, and it's cool. If the guy, anyway, my thoughts on that. They're just 2 different things, but it's just, why are we so okay with pitch shifting, but so against auto tuning in any way? It's weird to me. It's weird that we draw this funny little line. On that note, I think it is so clever how this song starts, because after the line is "who's knocking at the door" or whatever, I'm not sure anymore who's knocking at my door. And I'm like, he sounds, he's one of those dudes where he's not a good singer per se, but this sounds amazing. Like, in light of that, like, it sounds like you can do what he's doing in a good way.
Yeah.
And I really love this little thing, And then he starts his verse. Some say Sean Price is the nicest on my devices, pop power, which make me more mightier than ISIS. Try this, that. And I'm like, oh, I don't know why, but that is one of the nicest. It's a good word. Anyway, but starts to a verse, just the way he spits it, ever. Like, that is a really good start to a verse. Like, the attitude, just the overall delivery, it really stood out to me. And then there's that line about ISIS, which is not what we would think it is. It's apparently a reference to a live-action superhero television series, The Secrets of ISIS, starring Joanna Cameron. Anyway, it's just...
But I think Isis is also like an Egyptian god, so couldn't they be mightier than Isis?
Amulet on the show, and when they had a catchphrase, Almighty Isis, from that show. So this is
all right.
one of those things where you're like, I am way too young to know what the fuck that is. Anyway, the way he flows it through is just ridiculous, you know. Picture you trying to break through my path, my ape blast all you fucking snakes in the grass, go to hell with angel dust, plus I bust the devil's lance. I'm like, oh, that's some clever drug wordplay mixed in with the angel and hell and whatnot.
Yep.
Like, because the truth is, a lot of people on some PCP made some people go to hell, just throwing it out there. With lyrics that come from the tip of the tongues, and now you strong. Sean sparks like John Stars in the fourth quarter. Either way, it's just really amazing. It is, from a phonetic sound point of view, one of the illest verses ever. Not saying it's like, I don't have a grading system for that, like really, it's just, it stood out to me, it hit me so nice that like I understand. Then Noyz is there and he's alright, but I'm still like feeling Sean Price, so it's really hard to follow that verse.
Mm-hmm.
He does a good job, I'm not trying to take away from it, but Trump Starks it from the dark, resubmerge, I'll splurge on herbs with verbs and the usage of my words, just doesn't hold a candle to Sean Stark, okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And it's a good verse otherwise. It's proper. I don't really have a lot more to say about it because it's just not as good. Then, word is Bon Jovi. Don't know me. Hoes blow me. Show me affection for constant erection. And I'm like, even that Sean Price verse starts in a memorable way. Because Bon Jovi also got lots of fellatio and probably had a constant erection getting constant affection. So I like the fact that he's choosing to aim high with his groupie aspirations. Like, it's a smart choice, right?
Yep.
Like, Bon Jovi, lots of ladies still love him to this day. They're the same girls that loved him 20 years ago.
Yep, that's true.
But that's a good aspiration. That's some loyal girls willing to go down on you. My direction of pistols pointed at on Bristol. All who thought it was fun to pull guns and issue my dismissal, but you can handle this. I get scandalous with cannabis and it's my system, which make me more odd than Tony Randall, bitch. I don't know who that is, but again,
I feel like I know the name Tony Randall.
I feel like just listening to the way he rolls these rhymes around and basically kind of goes consistent with, on the one hand, girls fuck me. On the other hand, y'all are not going to be able to keep up with what I bring to the table. It's just magnificent. It's just awesome. It's honestly like,
yeah.
Look, how we cut out that little verse in the middle that wasn't equally as awesome as the other two verses, this would have been a 5, but Illinois pulls it out of 5 zone and a 4.75 zone. Because, yo, the chorus is wonderful. The beat is wonderful. This is one of the best songs on the album, in my opinion. As much as you might say Rock stands out a lot on tracks in terms of voice, I don't think he has the flow that's chopping it in such a smooth way like that.
Well, all right. I mean, I thought it was really cool. I really liked Ruck on this one. I thought it was, like, I don't know if, like, I think it's cute that, like, they use the name, or cute, I guess.
It's cute.
Yeah, that he uses the name Ruck, but then, like, he's talking about himself and, like, how great he is. And he's smooth, he's grimy, he's fun to listen to. I really like the beat, and there's, like, a use of, like, a harp or something, like, in there. And I thought that was kind of, like, unique, because you don't often hear a harp. And Illinois is also, like, not my favorite kind of sound, but he's basically like, his lyrics are just shooting at you like bullets. Like, that's kind of like what he's talking about.
Whereas the other one's slicing you up with like a sword.
Yeah, he's a little bit more direct. And I liked some more, like, I don't know, I wrote down some of, like, Ruck's lyrics that I liked. Due to circumstance and lyrical advances, another man died. Why? Because of my verbal enhancement. Transmit lyrics over my mental highway. I say what I wanna, smoke marijuana. Gonna hit you with the verse so blank. Nurse your fucking wounds. Boom in my system. Keep me in time with the tune. So I thought that was, like, really cool. Like, the way that he, like, I mean, obviously I don't do it justice, but I thought it was, like, really well done, the way he uses, like, his, like, rhyme play and just, like, the whole, like, flow of it and, like, kind of what he's talking about. Like, I liked all of it, like, the whole package.
Yeah.
Yep. And there was sort of like a weird noise at the end, like on the beat, which I was kind of like, okay, that was a little like weird. I don't know. I think that they're definitely having fun with their music. They're not taking it so seriously, but they are still impressing you every single time. I liked it. I like rock. I gave this a 4.35 on 5.
Alright, so to the other YouTube reviewer clicks out there on the internet, I don't even know if you exist. It seems to be like we're a crew and everybody else is solo fucking people by themselves reacting and stuff. But yo, where's your clans? Where's your posses? Where's your crews and clicks, yo? Bring it. Yeah. Something I like want to say about Rock's flow that is really, really cool is the way he can really manipulate his individual BPM almost in his rhythm. Like he'll come in and be like, I be, and I'm just guessing a bit here, so if I get it wrong, I be the drama bringer of a, you know, like how he like goes a little bit slow and then goes quicker, and he does it with this level of control that I really admire. I really think it's like it's a complete compliment to the style that Sean Price is bringing to the table. Like these guys are so well matched together that when we get to this track, I mean, you got to keep in mind, I was sitting there going, this album is pretty amazing, but I hadn't heard it yet. I hadn't heard the song that would make me go, oh shit, that's it. And then I heard this song, and this song just took like everything the other little songs did before this one, not to say it a little, but and it just does it better. The beat's better, the hook is better, just the little intro sets you up. You know, these people coming in, the whole squad of them, everything, they can't handle it. You know, I'm gonna come prove the point to you. We coming in, and then they just go back and forth the whole track to that, like, you know, hook coming in, clans, posses, crews, and clicks. All y'all bitch can suck my dick. It's just like that's blunt.
Yep.
Y'all, every one of y'all. And then can't none of y'all
Up to it.
fuck with me and my man. It's just like we have the camaraderie with this dude by my back. We gonna fuck shit up, and then just dropping ill verses the whole way through. I mean, this one is a lot. It's more than the bars. It's just the overall flow delivery that got me fucked up on this one, because they're coming at it just so strong. They're bouncing off each other, right? Like Rock's verse, you know, and one time for your mind, one time for the snitch dropping down. Me now I hear you whine when my nines to your spine. Climb this rocky mountain, energy from my fountain. And I like that. Just look at how he goes, climb this rocky mountain. So he starts the little bar there by referencing the rhyme scheme of the previous bar.
Yep.
And then introduces the new rhyme scheme in the same bar, and it's almost like forgets about the old one, and now we on the mountain, pounding fountain, you know, so don't be found in my clutches. If you don't know who Sparsky is, then you don't know who Dutch is, because in your mind,
Because they used to be called Sparsky and Hutch.
and in your mind you heard Hutch, even though he doesn't say it, you heard Hutch, and then you get the subject, you get subverted with the Dutch, and you're like, this is so good. Don't get snuffed, kid. Anyway, it's amazing. So then he ends it. Who's the first to see blackness like the universe? And then Rock's just like, yo, fuck that. They better start running for shelter. Live and direct from the 9 to that, from Heltah Skeltah, word 'em up. I murdered ducks who never heard of rock. And I'm like, lyrically, I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling Sean Price this whole album. Like, I feel like his wordplay is a little more my cup of tea and dopeness. Delivery wise, yo, they're even here. Like, from a, because like it's not always like the wordplay is the only thing. Sometimes you're just listening to the song and you just feel like, yo, the energy's bouncing here is perfect. Like, there's nothing that could be changed here. I just happen to feel a little more like Sean Price is more the geeky, nerdy. Not that he's geeky or nerdy, but his rhyme appeals to the geek nerd in me. Anyway, it's just freaking flows in, man. I be never sloppy. I be Roxy. I rock heads from bedrock to you go Slavy. When he did that, I'm like, that is so fucking dope, man. Basically, everything about the way he fucks with the language is simple and keeps the things going, and just...
For those of you young kids that don't know, Yugoslavia used to be a country.
Yeah, it's not a country no more. Anyway, robbing you and your clue blind. Yeah, we do crimes. Find that ass a new spine or a new behind. Now you whine, but you stop the crying like Screwface. I in the mood to bash your eyes in. And I'm like, damn, it's just harsh. It's just like, shut up, stop whining, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yep.
And then freaky like a golden shower with my golden bowels. I'm like, damn, Rock. Damn.
I hope his poop isn't like a rock.
Damn.
Damn, indeed.
I think I got it backwards in terms of the lyrics. I think I actually got Rock and Rock mixed up on this one. I'm real sorry, folks. I still stand by Sean Price being more interesting for the album. I just think on this track I got it mixed up. But yo, that golden bowels lines, I see the guiding light for some insight. Freaky like a golden shower when my golden bowels hit instrumentals, get influential like Colin Powell. Get it? Because Colin Powell is at the time the black politician who, if I'm not mistaken, the media set him up like he speaks correctly, therefore he's intelligent. Anyway, but he's influential, but his name has literally got colon in it, so it ties to golden. Yeah, no, I'm still geeking on that shit. It's a little more grotesque. I can't help it. Everything about these guys are great, man. I don't know. I'm really feeling it, man. Yeah. I'm feeling it a lot. I murdered that. It's too good. There's still more verses to it. That's the best part about this. I like the wrestling shit. Suplex your ground pops, then Corn, and then like Corn at pop shit. I'm like, that's fucking great, man, because Corn pops and he's popping shit like, you know, violence or rhymes or whatever. Can't flush fucking us with us, get smacked like hawk spit like what? I'm like, that's amazing, because like the spitting is also like hot, like you just feel the intensity. I'm like, this is really clever, man. Good job, Rock. You also have great rhymes. I don't know what earlier me on this track was talking about. And Rock comes in again, man, and just kills it again at the end, and it's just awesome. This sounds like a 5, like I said. It's really cool. I don't know. I could just keep gushing line by line through it, but it's pretty dope. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I also, I really like their flows on this one. I did like the way that they like played up using like kind of like the last person's kind of like end of like their verse sometimes, and like kind of like carrying like the story through. I like that. It's kind of made me think of like, I don't know, I feel like you had to do that in high school, like somebody had to start a story and you had to like keep going with it. I don't know, I thought that was kind of fun. It definitely sounds a little bit more underground and a little bit more creepy, this one. Like the beat, I was like, it took me like, I wasn't like the biggest fan of the beat for this one, but I still like, I liked it, but I thought the lyrics were definitely like the show, like the star of the show, I guess. And they're also talking that they're not about gangs, like that's, you know, and they tell them to like fuck off, like they don't want to be part of that life, like that's not what they're here for. Like they're tough and they can stand their own ground and they don't need to be involved in any of that stuff. Like they can kind of fight for themselves. And I think that's also what they're talking about in terms of music as well. You know, even though they have their own crew and their friends and whatever, obviously that, you know, kind of pitch in, and as you know, we'll see kind of throughout, you know, other guys that get involved. So yeah, I mean, I like this one. It's nice, and like you were saying, like they just kind of like kill it with the lyrics. Like they're really good. It's a lot of, I don't know, it's really like well done. So I mean, pretty good. I give this a 4.35 on 5.
All right. So if you were to say to me though, from a content perspective, do you feel that like the album's been super versatile? And I'm gonna have to say, up until this point, the main thesis has been we are ridiculously tough and strong and ill MCs with odds of prowess. And you might be going, is that all these guys can bring to the table? If so, I guess I'm gonna have to go to therapy. I mean, like, the concept of the song really caught me off guard, like, because my feelings coming into it were a little bit like I was mocking before we started talking about this, but this song has a really great, like, concept, really structured in to almost take a lot of stuff and add a different lens to it. But I feel like instead of me just gushing through it, you should talk to us about this one.
So yeah, it is pretty interesting. Like, you know, so he is, or Ruck is there to see a doctor, to see, you know, he's the patient, and Ruck kind of seems like not fully into it. Like at first he kind of starts off and he's snoring and he's just like, you know, he's just there for whatever. And then you kind of get into it a little bit more, and then it's like just like the therapy session between Dr. Kill Patient, who is the doctor, and Ruck, and I have a feeling that maybe they don't necessarily believe in therapy, or maybe don't believe that it works for them, or that they need therapy for whatever reason. But like that's just kind of like my impression here. Like I said, and he kind of mentions that, or he's, confessing or talking to or whatever it is, that all he thinks about is violence, and he can't stop, and like it's all the time. He just kind of gets asked like the standard questions, like, were you touched like when you were a child? And he says no, he wasn't involved in any of that, but he was involved in gunplay, and he had, maybe seen some violence. And then kind of like I thought that, like, I don't know, as I listened to the song, it felt like it kind of changed a little bit, but it sounded like at first like he wasn't, like the doctor wasn't really listening to him, and like the doctor was kind of like warping the truth to make it sound a little bit more like stereotypical or whatever, like kind of fits into like the narrative, I guess that's what he's talking about. And then he mentions also, like, that this is, that a friend was killed, and like this was, kind of a low point in his life, and that's kind of like what this is all about, and why maybe he feels like he needs therapy, but then at the same time, like, this sort of thing is affecting a whole lot of people and communities, and it just kind of like spills out into everything. So the story was a little bit weird, but like,
really,
I don't know. Like I thought it was I thought it was a little bit like,
I thought it's satirical.
Yeah, but like it was very honest and like very like pointed.
But I think like it's pointed in a sense where I believe that the purpose of this track is for Rock to describe how ultimately music is his therapy. Yeah. Is the whole point of it,
like,
right?
Because that's exactly it. Like, he's using this, he's telling his story through the music, and, like, that's
But there's just so many interesting parts of this, right? Like, it doesn't matter if I'm dead, sober, I'm banned, it's strange, I'm not insane, or at least I don't think so, or am I? You think so, Doc? Truthfully, I don't know. So what do? I go to my crew and ask for help, but they ain't no help. They going through the same shit they damn self. I think that line really resonated with me, because it's like...
It's happening, like, everywhere in the community.
But it's like sometimes you hear lines, and one of my favorite things to do in life right now, I realize you can't see me at this angle, is to compare corporate America to the stuff I hear in these songs. And sometimes, and I'm not saying about now if any of my corporate people are watching, but sometimes you're in a situation where everybody kind of just feels this helplessness, and so you all kind of complain to each other, but like nobody's helpful in that moment, because you're all kind of going through the same thing, and you're all kind of feeling the same level of powerlessness, and whether it's violence that you're coming to, or maybe it's something else. I like the universality in the message, right? Because, yes, in his case, it's about violence, so he looks deep into the mind of a crook, and then it kind of describes a little bit of how he ended up, kind of documenting his story. And then he's just like, fuck, I don't want to, blow his top. I don't want to have a bad situation happen. So then Rock's like, yeah, see that leather sofa over there? Sit back with a six-pack and a spliff that I have your mind twisted while we chit-chat. I think that, and almost, again, the rhyming is like, we should start with this session. And then ask them, again, those kinds of questions. And, basically points out how he needs to stop fucking with the crack rock, as in selling it, is what I believe. And he's like, yo, I don't smoke it, I don't have that. He's like, yo, I can tell, because you're acting funny like when blacks get money. And that's an interesting line, too, because, I've seen some memes where you're like, damn, that's what you did with the money? Like, there's that...
I feel like Dave Chappelle did a pretty, like, popular skit.
There's just one that always stood out to me where the dude had, like, polo everything in his bathroom, and I'm like, maybe that's like hype, but like, that's your bathroom, that's a lot of money for a bathroom. Anyway, maybe I'm just not understanding because I don't have those racks, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm genuinely confused by your priorities if that's what you choose to spend them. I'm genuinely confused. I'm I'm not trying to judge. I just don't understand it.
Okay.
Anyway, then he points out the scar, like, you know, he's like, dude, just tell me what's going on. And then he goes back and he describes a little bit, you know, as I think back to the 90s, that's when life got extra grimy, multiplied with a fleet behind me. Wasn't smart to try me. Physical fam gave less than a which added on to the 80s anger tearing through my inner city, you know. It's all becoming clear. I always feared I'd have to pay the rate to us out of here. And basically what we see here is he grew up in the 80s, and in the 90s he comes into fruition. He's got a little gangs, and it's almost like they transformed themselves kind of like, you know, into these superheroes who could fight, who could handle the situation and hide the inner person of who they are. So they would take dope clothes and, you know, did some bad stuff, and it was, you know, a little bit of a bad, it's, you know, like nobilizing it. He's just saying this is kind of how it went down. And then, you know, any thoughts of hope or rehabilitation were killed when I lost my feel. It's been downhill ever since. They ain't nobody helping me, so I came to you, the doctor killed patients for therapy. So then we find out at a certain point he loses a buddy of his, and this causes a deep pain inside of him that makes him feel that anger from the earlier situation that we had. To which we get down to Mr. Price ending us with, bust a prognosis, better yet Duke have a dosage of prescribed poetry that people perceive as potent. Oh, that's a nice line. But it's a lot of what it is. It's like, take all it is, you know, and use it, which is literally what they're doing here in this very song, saying, and you can relate to this in ways. Maybe your environment isn't exactly that, but I think one of the number one things I tell almost everybody going through every little thing is to write it out or to create in your own way, because sometimes people don't write. But that's what he's saying here. But he's saying it so eloquently. Bust the prognosis. Better get Duke Cappadocious of prescribed poetry that people perceive as potent. I love alliteration, and that's well done. I've been going through your file, and I find a conclusion that you're destined to be the best in this world of confusion. You lose when you fall victim to evil ways. I know crime pays, but the rhyme slays nowadays. Take two of these, and if you have a problem at all, I'm on call 24 hours to brawl. Word is bond. And so, yes, you feel pushed into a certain lifestyle. Maybe it looks a certain way and blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows that kind of, I guess, tale at this point. But to end it with saying, but you can be great, and you can create these amazing songs that people will connect to and feel a way for. And that's the better solution. And you can even look at the proof, you know. You'll do better in the rap game than you will in the other games. And I'm like, damn, that's really strong. That's really cool. I gave this another 5 on 5. It is truly remarkable to me. It is like a next level like experience as far as tracks go.
Well, maybe I didn't get it. Like, I felt like I listened to it. Well, I mean, I listened to it a couple times, more than a couple times, and I don't know. Maybe I just like it just went over my head. But yeah, I mean, I definitely like. It's obvious that he, like, you know, he's going through something, that he is hurting, and like this is like his outlet, and I thought that was really cool. And in terms of like just the overall sound, I didn't really think it was my favorite, but I think the message is really good. I give it a 4 on 5.
All right, I appreciate everything you said there. On that note, everybody, it's getting a little bit past we're allowed to record in the apartment before the neighbors might call the cops on us time. There's still, I know there's track-wise more of the album, but it works out to being based on time. It'll probably be about this length when we're finished the second one. So we split it into 2 parts to make it a little more bearable in length for y'all. And Miss Bonnie here.
Yeah. So I'll be MIA for like a little bit, so there's going to be a delay on the second half of this, because I am getting my wisdom teeth out tomorrow morning. So I mean, maybe if I do something fun and magical when I'm like super high on like the drugs, we can put that on here. But there will be a minute where like I'm just going to be like
for like a week or so.
I don't know how long it's going to take for me to like fully heal and get back into it, but
and that will put a block on the second part of this review and any other bonding content, but that don't mean the channel won't still be popping off. Anyway, got some stuff still planned out for y'all. So just appreciate your patience on when part 2 is gonna come for the rest of the album and the big reveal.
Bring me your chicken broth and all those liquids.
Yeah, and feel free to comment on this video, as we will try to do. Is if we'll try to include everybody's comment at the start of part 2 as much as possible. Like if this gets like 1,000 comments, like let's be realistic, but that's never happened. So more realistically, the 7 comments I'm hoping that this gets by then will be like, you know, included. If this gets like 50 though, that would be real cool, and you'll make a recovering Bonnie feel amazing. And we all know that positive feelings, like good encouraging comments, help you get to recovery quicker. You know what else helps Bonnie recover? Subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button.
Oh, my teeth. Oh, no.
And anyway, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Dempsey, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricanes, Linda Williams, Coney Sparks. They're all dope. This episode is brought to you all in part by Coney Sparks.
The letter A.
Because he's dope.
No.
I just moved past that. He wanted this one, and that's been really cool. So welcome to the Pitchin' family, and this is, I guess, your next review with us. So if you want to see that happen, you know what to do. Guy who keeps requesting at the beginning of our videos, Patreon. But no, for real, I know I'm being a little goofy, but they helped us get a new camera. They're going to be paying for our website, as I've been holding off on putting more things on my credit card. But come October, between Google and Patreon, I'll have enough to just kind of get a Squarespace for a year. That's a whole year of a website paid for by Squarespace, who's not plugging me. And I'm going to go use somebody like Philip DeFranco or somebody's free. Maybe not him, because he's got cash. Some smaller creators. Smaller guy, yeah. Squarespace code. So if you've got a Squarespace code and you're watching this, holla at your boy. And yeah, we're going to move it to websites, which will help, and then simultaneously we're going to expand the podcast to the audio only format on podcast network. So since those do have subscription fees, honestly the Patreon is going to be the difference between being able to do it right now and not, which I know it sounds like little money, but at a certain point it's nice to know that like it's not hitting you in a sense, and the amazing fine people who support us like that are just that amazing, fine people that blow our freaking minds every single time. Anyway, that's enough of that. I make music too. I'm gonna be dropping an album soon, so you can check out what I got in the description of this video. Bonnie's awesome. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye guys.